Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, and this is the regular governing board meeting for the Litchfield Elementary School District Governing Board. I hereby call this meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you will please stand and join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we will take a moment of silent reflection. Okay, next we are going to move on to our recognitions and celebrations. This is going to be presented by Executive Director Nuanas.
Madam President, governing board members, Superintendent Davidson, and fellow cabinet members, esteemed guests, both present and online. Tonight, we have a couple of outstanding celebrations, both coming from Verado Heritage Elementary School. First, we are thrilled to celebrate our Verado heroes for being awarded the prestigious A+ School of Excellence designation by the Arizona Educational Foundation. Under the exemplary leadership of Principal Meredith Noche and her dedicated team, Verado Heritage has truly exemplified what it means to be an exceptional educational institution. This grand recognition is a testament to their unwavering commitment to modeling quality and equity in education, academic excellence as the cornerstone of their mission, adaptability in navigating their ever-evolving landscape in education, creating a safe and nurturing learning environment for all students, empowering teachers to deliver innovative instruction, and going above and beyond serving their community and families. The A+ School of Excellence Award not only honors the remarkable achievements of Verado Heritage, but it also serves as a beacon of inspiration for all. It energizes public confidence and it fosters greater parent and community engagement. So let us celebrate this extraordinary accomplishment and the positive impact Verado Heritage is making in the lives of its students, families, and the community. Congratulations to Principal Noche, her incredible staff, students, and families of Hero Land on this well-deserved recognition. If I could have your team come up to take a quick picture. Sure. Yeah, let's see. Yes. Yeah. There's no I in team. Yeah, that's why clear. That's why I clear like yeah, let's put him on that.
Yeah.
Hey, remember, if you can't see the camera can't see you. There we go. Three, two, one. Thank you. Okay, we have one more outstanding celebration. Okay, everybody, on to the next one. This next celebration is a very special one. When parents send their precious children to school each day, there is a level of trust that is bestowed upon us. As educators and support staff, it is not only our duty to educate them, but to watch over them and keep them safe. As safety is the top priority here at LESD 79, I know that it is a responsibility that we all take extremely seriously. So here is where this story takes shape. It was just a normal day for Stanley DeVico, engaging in his passion out playing football on the playground. This is when a fateful chain of events occurred. While running at full speed, he turned his head just for a moment, and that is when he ran into a pole and severely hit his head. It was at this point when instructional coach Michelle Steik and nurse Casey Martinez jumped into action. Their precise and strategic medical decisions while rendering aid to young Stanley were instrumental in the eventual positive outcome that awaited Stanley and the DeVico family. It is these types of actions that demonstrate the true servant's heart Nurse Martinez and Ms. Steik have for their school community. Tonight, we celebrate you as the epitome of your school mascot, the heroes that you truly are, along with Stanley's teacher, Michaela Welch, whose regular check-ins with the DeVicos helped with Stanley's recovery. And last but certainly not least, we celebrate Mr. and Mrs. DeVico and young Stanley. We celebrate your strength and courage through this tough situation and for reminding us all of one of life's greatest lessons. It is not how we fall, but how we rise and persevere. You are all truly heroes. Can I have you come up for a picture, please?
I did just want to share, Principal Noche here, that while it was a very unfortunate accident, the tremendous response, not only from my staff, but as well as the district office, I don't think there's enough praise sometimes on that end of things. The constant check-ins with the governing board, wanting to check in with the district administration, the immediate response from Director of School Safety, Ryan Reese, who immediately came within hours of hearing of him being in emergency surgery, and just the constant support and check-ins on the administrative level, as well as then being able to take that calm and radiate that to the family. And we enjoyed visiting with him on a couple of occasions at his home between the teacher, nurse, and then some of my admin staff. Have you used the Fortnite gift card yet? That's what your sister. Well, make sure it's for you, those V-Bucks, not for her. All right. But I just, again, wanted to give, it was just a very great source of comfort and support from top down from all of you checking in again to the district office personnel. So thank you for that. So thank you again.
Just a couple of comments I wanted to make. One on the A plus being selected as an A plus school. I've been at a couple of schools who've been through that process, and that's no joke. So it is an extreme honor to be selected to be a school that is an A plus school of excellence, and it shows the dedication your team has, your families, top to bottom. You have to have it everywhere, and you guys being a family all the way through is a great honor for you guys to get that, and you definitely deserve it. So we're very proud of you guys for making that this year. And also a shout out to our nurse. This is another thing that I'm very proud of us, that our district supports our overrides and makes it so that we can have certified nurses at every campus, because you never know what's going to happen. So we are so grateful to the nurse for being there, and to our community for allowing us to have nurses on all our campuses for situations like this. We are going to move on. I don't believe we have any public comments today, right? So we are just going to keep moving on. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda and the consideration of consent agenda. I will go through and see if anyone has anything they would like to pull off. Mr. Owens,
I do not, thank you.
Ms. Moran,
I would like to pull item 6.7, the classified hires.
Ms. Clymer.
I don't have anything to pull off. Thank you.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda minus item 6.7 as presented.
I second.
Having a motion from Ms. Clymer and a second from Mr. Owens, I will call for the vote. Mr. Owens,
Yay.
Ms. Moran,
Yay.
Ms. Clymer.
Yay.
I'm also yay. Motion passes. We will move on to items. Well, I guess now it'll be 7.1. So I say it right this time. Ms. Moran, that is your item.
Yes, so as is my trend, I wanted to pull item 6.7, which is now item 7.1, so that we could find out more about the hiring process and the candidates that are filling two positions that are listed on this item. The first being the Director of Facilities, and the second being the Transportation Supervisor.
Madam President and Ms. Moran, thank you for pulling this agenda item, giving us a chance to share the process that we went through, also to highlight the applicants that we are recommending tonight. We're excited, as you know, just continue to build our team. And I'm going to ask
Thank you, Dr. Davidson. It's been exciting out there. As we know, we've had a lot of roles to fill. And so we'll speak specifically to the transportation supervisor position first. Once we brought on the new director, Ms. Tassin, we put together a plan to start to fill positions. And we've been very fortunate to have as many candidates as we have had. And through this process, it kind of fell in our lap. This gentleman who comes to us with experience from Shamrock and Coca-Cola and running transportation across the state of Arizona for different large organizations. And he exuded this leadership capabilities that really stood out amongst the rest of the candidates and made it very hard to not select him. And so through that, we had actually done first round interviews the week prior and just didn't have the one. And we chose not to settle and left it open and looked at other candidates and came back to the table with some of our team from the department down there and came across Mark Chavez. And so I know we're really excited for him to start. He's actually going to start Monday and really get us moving, as we know Ms. Tassin's helping quite a bit, but she's also still running a school. And I want that to be her focus as we go through this time of testing and end of the year. And then that leads us into the director of facilities. We interviewed 7 candidates, all with really high level experience. I go back to about being fortunate to have people with school district facility maintenance experience. We had 2 rounds. The first round had 7 stakeholders in it, and it was pretty clear who the 1 and 2 was, but very difficult from then. And so we brought them back, the top 2 candidates for a second round in a smaller, more intimate group, but drilled them a little bit more, some more in-depth questions that allowed those that will work closely with this person are our CFO and our director of building and construction, Mr. Ensign, to be part of that. And we selected this candidate, Alan Van Horn, who actually graduated from Litchfield Elementary School here back in a few years ago, we'll say. But he is here today. And so, I want to send my congratulations. We're super excited for him to bring his wealth of knowledge and experience. He's spent the last 10 years in Dysart, basically doing the same thing. And he's done a lot of similar projects that we are looking to do or know that we have the abilities to do to continue to grow and make Litchfield the best district in the state of Arizona. So thank you, Mr. Van Horn.
Mr. Owens, did you have any questions or comments?
I do not. Thank you.
Ms. Clymer?
No, thank you for the explanation. Pending the vote, obviously tonight, Mr. Van Horn, you have very big shoes to fill. Dan Ensign's been a board favorite for a long time. So I know he's still sticking around. He's got a new job, but he probably wants to do just one job, but not two. So you got big shoes to fill. And Dan, thank you so much for all of your work for all of these years doing our facilities. I know you'll still be involved, but it's nice to actually now only transition to one job, right? That's all. Thanks, Melissa.
Something tells me he's not doing one job, nor was he doing two before, but at least it's somewhat less now. I love when we are hiring people from our district. I think it's awesome. So I don't have any questions though. So if someone would like to make a motion.
I move to approve item 7.1 as presented.
I will second.
Having a motion from Ms. Moran and a second from Ms. Clymer, I will call for the vote. Mr. Owens?
Yay.
Ms. Moran?
Yay.
Ms. Clymer?
Yay, but I think Kim referenced item 7.1 and it's item
That's what it became
6.
to now.
Oh,
Because we
I'm
moved
sorry.
it.
Okay. Yay. I'm good. Apologize.
I am also a yay. Motion passes.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. Thank you. I'm following now.
Okay, we are moving along. Next item on the agenda is going to be the consideration of approval for timeline for transition to the trust policy services. This is going to be led by Dr. Davidson.
All right, Madam President, members of the governing board. Tonight, I shouldn't say just our team wanted to bring to you tonight an opportunity for conversation and vote around potential movement to the trust policies. We know there was some conversation probably a couple of months ago or a month ago or so around our policies and possible movement to a different organization. We believe that would be of value to our district, not just from an overall perspective, as we've been charged to begin to examine policies and think about those policies and how they impact us for our future, but also there will be a monetary savings as well. We recognize, though, from a human capital perspective, it will take time, not just from us as your administrative team, but also as governing board members to spend time going through each subsection of policy. And we know that can't happen right now. So my proposal tonight for a board vote potentially would be for us to begin a process of movement into the trust policies, and that we would do that in order to transition fully during the 25-26 school year. So I stand for any questions, but that was certainly where we landed after the last conversation. So thank you.
Mr. Owens, did you have any questions or comments?
I have no questions. I'm ready to transition away from ASPA.
Ms. Moran?
My only follow-up question is, how do you envision this process going? Are you going to assemble a committee who will then be charged with certain sections, or this is a big task, obviously. So if you could give me, if you have a plan yet, if you could give me some insight into that.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Miranda. Right now, and we will consider this this process of sorts, each particular cabinet member is assigned a letter of policy. That'll change with the trust policies. But we know that currently G is the personnel policy. That'll still remain primarily connected to human resources with a new policy piece. And so we will have an individual and their respective team weighing in on what those new policies look like, and then also working alongside the trust and their particular officials to start to what they called a crosswalk of sorts of, here's where you are now, here's where we could see you, and what do we need to do in between to ensure that we are still doing what needs to happen in regards to those specific areas. Also, when we met with the trust, the conversation was around them also supporting that conversation with our individual governing board members. And so I'm envisioning that we would have to schedule either additional study sessions or build in some time for some work sessions to exist in our current meeting schedule so that we could also allow our board to weigh in on policies that they either wanted to discuss or maybe add additional commentary to. But we thought, Ms. Moran, that would take place once we begin or have a vote to move forward. We would begin that process and with the intent to have everything done by December of this next school year so that we could then take every other piece, such as our handbook that's connected to policy, begin to make those changes with the preparation for the start of that next school year.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clymer?
I think you answered my question. I mean, I think from starting July 1 of this year and moving through December, what I'm hearing is we would have a sort of intensive internal review with each of the respective departments and directors and cabinet members and so on. That would be reviewed, whether it's through study sessions, work sessions, whatever, with governing board members over time. And then the January to June of 25 would be sort of the peripheral pieces that relate to policy, meaning like the handbooks and things like that, that would go. So when is the time that the trust would step in and do the actual legal review of that? So I mean, us, you as directors, us as board members, we're going to have some ideas of how we want to take the policy, but ultimately, right, I mean, legal has to review that that's actually what it can say. So when does the trust actually get involved in that process? Not until the following June, or is it sometime in this next 6 or 8 months?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Clymer, Madam President, they would start as soon as we establish that purchase order with them. And I know there's some paperwork that we would sign as well that says we're going to agreement with them. So once we do that, they would be starting to work right alongside us.
And that's what's going to happen this July.
Yes, ma'am.
So they'll be working with us through the transition. We're not
Yes, ma'am.
transitioning and then getting on board with them. They're coming alongside us the whole time. That
Correct.
was the piece that was missing. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I am excited for us to start doing this process. I think that it coincides nicely with us. And while we're doing our strategic plan and coming up with our strategic plan going forward, we have wanted to review our policies for a long time. So this helps us do that because it makes us have to do it. And I like that we're not trying to rush it because obviously things happen. We learned that this week, right? You can't plan. So things will just happen and we don't want to be in the middle of a time crunch project and then have something happen that needs to take our time away. So I want to give this the time and attention that it needs so that it's done correctly. So I'm excited to have us do this going forward with the timeline you have presented. If someone would like to make a motion.
Can I ask one more question first?
Yes,
before
please
that?
do.
So do you anticipate that it would be presented to us as a board that we would adopt these as our policies? Let's say like in our first January meeting, we would say, we're adopting these policies effective July 1. That way we know they're coming because we can't have two sets of policies and we're really not like, so
Right.
that just seems kind of odd, but is that how it would work?
So very much so, Ms. Moran. So
Okay.
for this next school year, we will still be under ASBA policy and having that as our guide while we're working through it. There's probably a couple of ways we could do it. We could go section by section as we work through it and take an actual vote, first read, second read on the policies as a whole and have those prepared. I do believe our intent from an administrative standpoint would be either it's one full vote to the beginning of January or at that end of December where we are set that this is where our policy is moving forward to start that next year, but that would then enable us to do the work we need to get done.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Then I will move to approve the timeline for transition to the trust policy services as presented.
I second.
Having a motion for Ms. Moran and a second for Mr. Owens, I will call for the vote. Mr. Owens?
Yay.
Ms. Moran?
Yay.
Ms. Clymer?
Yay.
I'm also a yay. The motion passes. We are moving along tonight, guys. Next up on the agenda is going to be discussion, and this one is going to be superintendent performance pay for 23-24 school year. This will also be led by Dr. Davidson.
All right. Thank you, President Zion, and members of the board. This conversation, if you recall, originated in December when we voted on some of my performance objectives that were to have been completed. But we also talked about some other, what I would say, probably more finite detail in the work that the team and I are doing around the remainder of the year and how that might connect to a model for performance pay. And so the team and I, and certainly want to thank Mr. Owen out there who helped me with our student achievement data, put together a process for us to use this year that for the student achievement perspective mirrors how our schools are held accountable for their particular labels. You will see in the back section of the student achievement, those other 4 areas that right now we're collecting a baseline. So I wanted to put those in there with hopes that next year when we meet in the summer and move forward to into the 24-25 school year, that we will then have a data set that will also be used to help as related to the student achievement perspective of performance pay. The team and I also created some additional goals that mirrored some of the language from our current strategic plan. Goal 2, dealing with people. Goal 3, service, and goal 4, finance and resources. And I hope you can see in there that the data that's going to be used will drive the conversation around was the goal met, partially met, or unmet, and will also serve as a foundation for future conversations regarding those particular areas. Lastly, goal 5 are the performance objectives that have been completed based on our evaluation or mid-year review, I should say, in December. So, really just try to put a plan that would allow us to have really good and tight conversation around performance pay as we move into the early summertime, but also could be a starting point for next year's goals perhaps as well. So I certainly stand for any conversation. This is not a voting item tonight. I'm open for feedback and conversation. I will bring this back pending feedback for a vote in the near future. So thank you.
Okay, before we start this conversation, I just wanted to remind the board that because Dr. Davidson is in his first year contract, we're not supposed to do a full evaluation. So while this looks very different than what some board members are used to for our evaluations in the past, this is helpful to us because in speaking with our attorney, we still do have to have some kind of thing in place to do performance pay at the end of the year, even though we don't technically do a full evaluation. So this, I think, helps us get started in our conversation of what that might look like, especially as we get a new strategic plan in place. That's going to change how our tool works in the future. But Dr. Davidson was wanting to give us some concrete things to look at. So I appreciate you putting this together, getting numbers for us, and having a way for us to be able to do that while still honoring our commitments to you in your contract as well. So, Mr. Owens, did you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't have any questions. This is like my first performance review of a superintendent. I do think it's just funny, like that you're talking about your pay. Like normally that's, whatever. This seems like a NFL contract here, rushing yards and touchdowns and receptions and Pro Bowl. So I'm familiar in that area, but no, I think this is great. I think it's nice to see your objectives and your goals and how to accomplish it. And I hope you hit every single one of them.
Thank you.
Ms. Moran.
Yes. So yes, this is very different from what we normally do for a review. And I do understand why it's different. Starting out, I do appreciate the data piece with the student performance and the fact that that is mirroring really what our school and district letter grades. That to me feels appropriate that we would roll that up to you and be able to evaluate your performance based on what's happening on our campuses. My request would be for the other goals that we at least put some thought and consideration into what that data is going to look like, because as we all know, information can be manipulated to say a lot of different things. So I don't want us to get to the review and then, not that anyone would do this, but that you're going to choose the data that makes you look the best. So I think if we can choose the data, such as, a particular survey question or the general survey, we've talked about surveys because we do surveys of our people for sure. If we're going to use survey feedback, decide, is that going to be the entire survey score? Is it going to be a couple of the questions about the superintendent or cabinet or just to hone in a little bit more on that? going into the process instead of saying, okay, we get to June, what data do we have to support these things? So I don't have specific suggestions necessarily on each of these, but if you and, maybe some members of your cabinet could come up with, okay, this is the way that we would like to start this process, because I do agree that no matter what the strategic plan looks like, hopefully the data points that we're looking at in your evaluation are going to continue to be important data points that we're going to look at in the future as well.
Good, thank you.
Ms. Clymer.
I agree. I agree with that comment. It's hard to decide what those measurement or what that data is going to be because, in this first year, your evaluation is going to look very different. So, moving forward, but specifically for the performance pay, I do think that both to protect you and to protect the board from, any kind of bias, if we start out with the measurement, what defining success in the beginning, then we're all on the same page by the end. If we change it up when we get to the end, then we kind of run into, was it really the definition of success that we started with? So I think we're on the right page. I think once we move through this first session and we develop an evaluation that you'll use moving forward, I think that'll be easier once we get through one cycle. I did have a question, and I think I'm just not understanding it properly. So I see goal 1, I see 2, 3, 4, 5, and then at the bottom where you have the performance pay, the breakout for each. So you have each one weighted. I see, goal number 1, the student success is weighted higher. That makes perfect sense to me. And then you have goal 5 as 50%, but goal 5 is basically completing all the 4 other goals. So explain that to me a little bit, how that works. So, because it seems to me let's say if you don't meet goal number 2, then you automatically don't meet goal number 5. That doesn't seem exactly fair, but maybe that's what you intended. So.
No, thank you, Ms. Clymer. And maybe I need to do a better job of expanding on goal 5. What I see as goal 5 were all those 4 things that we voted upon in December to complete. So that's why I had them as 50%.
Not these goals
Yes,
here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, that makes perfect sense. Because I was like, if you do that, then you're, penalizing yourself twice, which doesn't really seem fair. So totally understood. Thank you.
I don't think I have any questions. They kind of hit on the same points. I would like to make sure we are all on the same page when we are figuring out scoring and that kind of stuff at the end of the year, because I feel that that's helpful for us to be starting at the same point. Does anybody else have any questions that came up already?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did have one more question,
Oh,
if you
go
don't
ahead.
mind. On page 2, underneath the chart, it has the scoring student success. If it's greater than 24 points, it's fully met. What is that in reference to? Is that all of the things above with the benchmarks? Is it referencing all of those that if you were to get, but if you get 4 points on each of them and there's only 4 there, then that only adds up to 16. So I can't figure out how you would get 24 points.
Thank you, Ms. Clymer. On the actual, those 4 that you see right above that particular area are ones right now where it's you see the TBD.
Mhm.
It's just because this is going to serve as a baseline. So for this particular year, those won't serve as a scoring piece.
Okay.
If you go to the top of that page or page 1, where you have the other 6 items, actually, I think it's 7, that is where we'll score from for the student achievement perspective.
Okay, so that's where the 24 points comes
Yes, ma'am.
in. So what you score on that first page box is, okay.
Yep.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Good. And President Zion, members of the board, thank you for your feedback. Next time we meet, I'll do my best on goal 2 and 3 in particular to have some very finite numbers. Goal 4 is a little bit more qualitative in nature. So, but I'll come with some things for us. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. We are doing so amazing tonight, guys. I'm so excited. We are going to move on to reports. We will start with, man, Dr. Davidson just doesn't get to stop talking tonight. It's like the first night it's not the Michael Vaughn show.
Thank you, President Zion. I should have just stood right there. But I'll just start. April is a very busy month, and I want to begin my comments by saying thank you to all of our staff, students, and families for their efforts within our state mandate assessments. From the many conversations and school visits, it is apparent that all of us take the demonstration of student learning very seriously. Also, I'd like to welcome Ms. Michelle Wallace to her role as future governing board member. We are excited to have our fifth thought partner, or in some cases, as I was told earlier tonight, our starting five, and look forward to her contributions and to the development of our Litchfield learners. I believe that Ms. Wallace will enjoy her role as a governing board member, and I want to thank our four current governing board members in advance for your mentorship, guidance, and friendship that I know you will provide. On another note, I want to highlight the positive efforts of Mr. Stone and his team as we continue to upgrade and address needs within facilities. I did bring my prop tonight in case you weren't aware. The eclipse happened, and we all were happened to be outside El Thomas Heck for most of the day, which is as was referenced earlier. There are just things that happen throughout the day we can't always plan for, such as a crane falling into our classroom buildings. Now, the silver lining is only 2 classrooms are negatively impacted. School will start back in action for LTH tomorrow morning, regular time, and our buses, everybody's prepared for that. So certainly need to give a shout out to that team as well for all their efforts. And we also had a chance today to see the portables, or in this case, really nice looking permanent classrooms over at Verado Elementary. They look really good, and I think it'll be great to expand some space over there. We also continue to engage with our community partners and are certainly thankful for the contributions to the district and to our students. Last Friday, we had our LESD Foundation Golf Tournament, great success. Many golfers out there, vendors, partners supporting our staff and our students, and also to another community partner, School Connect. Most recently, they invited members of our student body to an April 30th STEM event over at ASU, all around STEM inside the ASU football stadium. So I think that'll be really fun for our kids to get to attend. And in closing, we look forward to a strong finish to the month of April. We will continue with open and transparent communication as we build for our future, finalizing the next strategic plan. Please be thinking about the keys that each of you holds to further the Litchfield learner. Thank you.
Thank you. We are going to move on now to reports from governing board members, and I will start with Mr. Owens.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to apologize for missing the last meeting. I had a family obligation, so I apologize for that. Played in the golf tournament, which was awesome. I did not repeat as the long drive winner. It was horrible, but it was awesome to see all the people out supporting and raising money. So that was fun. Today we did tour Litchfield Elementary, where my daughter will be a kindergartner next year. That was cool. I'm excited for the new principal to start next year and kind of carry on the culture that is there and build her own. So all in all, I can't believe that we're almost through April and the school year is almost over. I hope everybody has a really good finish to the school year, and that's all I have.
Ms. Moran.
Yes, this month, as I said last month, I don't get out of my office very often, but I did get to go to the special meeting that we had on March 26th, and I did my regular check-ins with Dr. Davidson, which I always appreciate his communication and his openness to feedback, and also providing me with feedback that I might need to know. I would like to give my personal congratulations to Michelle on her appointment to our board, and I look forward to working with you in the future. And the last thing that I did, what has been mentioned twice already, but I went to the foundation golf tournament, which was the most successful yet in terms of funds raised and the popularity of the event. It was great to see so many people out. It's a beautiful day. I had a fun time golfing with friends and seeing some of the district admin outside of the normal offices that I usually see them in, all while raising money for a good cause, the LESD teachers and students. So thank you to everyone who had a hand in this wonderful day, the foundation board specifically, and especially our tireless treasurer for the foundation board, Denise Covenants, and our board president, Paul Benz. Thank you very much for all of your efforts to make this event a success. So kudos on a job well done. And I will juxtapose the golf tournament, which was a great day, with some of the other days and challenges that we face in public education, such as the crane incident that Dr. Davidson referenced. And I'm inspired to quote from Travis Tritt's classic, "It's a great day to be alive," because that is how I felt on Friday, not so much on Monday. And it's a great day to be alive. I know the sun's still shining when I close my eyes. There's some hard times in the neighborhood, but why can't every day be just this good?
Thank you. Ms. Kleiman?
Okay, well, I feel like I have been really good the last 2 or 3 meetings, and I've had a fairly succinct board report. So I'm going to take a little bit of latitude today. And it's not going to be long. Don't give me that look, but it's just going to be a little bit more because I feel like I've been good and I need to reward myself. First and foremost, welcome to Michelle Wallace. We are excited to have you here. We are ready to be the Fab Five or whatever the admin called us. We're maybe the fearsome foursome or something right now, but we are excited to have you. And Dr. Davidson, I like what you said about, mentorship and the relationship and the friendship that is built up here, because even though we don't get to spend a lot of time together as a group outside of this room, it's nice to have colleagues and friends up here because there's a lot of trying times and difficult decisions that we have to make. And I respect everyone up here. So congratulations and welcome aboard. Before I go into the meat of my board report, I just want to say a quick thank you to Dr. Hill and her staff at Palm Valley for welcoming us for the showcase. It was a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember now, 2 weeks ago, maybe. It's great to see such a successful campus continuing to thrive and just do amazing things. Kids, parents, staff, everyone just felt really connected and engaged. And it was really exciting to see. So thank you for putting that on. I know it takes a lot of time and effort to put together the data presentation and that portion of it. And it's really, really good to see the good things that our schools are doing. So when I thought about my board report tonight and the busyness that I have personally felt professionally this spring in my other job outside of school board, it gave me pause to think about even in the times of ebbs and flows of my participation as a board member. Sometimes I can do it all and be everywhere and all of that, and then times that I can't and can't attend every meeting or can't attend every school showcase. But this last couple of weeks and months, I have felt as connected to the school district, despite the physical challenges of not being able to be everywhere all the time. So I wanted to take a moment and show my gratitude to a few different groups of people that have helped that happen. And I think a lot of other people, not only up here, but in the district, hopefully feel the same way. So it is late in the spring. And as Mr. Owen mentioned, it is testing time. And so our teachers and parents, I am most thankful for you for as things winding down, that you are gearing up. It is hard. It is really hard to get to the finish line, and you are still here. It's important to stay focused and engaged. And we thank you for that, because this is the time for our students to shine and show what they've learned and show what our staff has poured into them all year. So thank you to both teachers and parents. Students, I am grateful that you just keep working hard despite any challenges, whether it be damage to your classroom or flooding in a kitchen or whatever might come our way. Our kids just persevere. They want to be in our classrooms. They want to learn. They want to engage with their teachers. And I'm just so impressed by that. So stay focused on doing your best through testing, and your effort and hard work does not go unnoticed. To our LESD admin staff, the cabinet here, as well as the rest of the district office and all of the admin across the district. You have persevered through some fairly difficult things, not just this week, but in the last couple of months. Unforeseen challenges with operations and facility issues, lots of hiring changes that always come with a transition. You can know and understand they're coming, and then feeling the brunt of that is always a different story. So you've handled that with grace, and I really appreciate it. We have, staff retention and recruitment right now with our contracts being out. There's a lot going on in our human resources, and that's kind of the bread and butter of our year, is trying to recruit the best staff and retain the staff that we do have. So I appreciate your efforts there. This spring, although it's busy with all of those things, it's such a critical time for us to set up ourselves for success for the next school year. And so this is the time that we have to work twice as hard, if that's even possible, to do that. So thanks for maintaining your discipline and focus to finish the school year strong. And lastly, to our community, as mentioned, the golf tournament, raising money to recognize our staff and teachers and admin through the Pride Awards is amazing. Our community comes together in so many ways to help recognize the good work that's being done here. And I'm eternally grateful for that. Melissa mentioned our override support and our nursing staff and everyone that is impacted by that. Also, the support of our bond efforts to build a new school. We've got growth all over this district, and the community is stepping up and taking a big responsibility, and I'm grateful for that. PTOs, PTAs, PTSAs, and every other acronym that I left out. You are full of community volunteers that volunteer your time, your talent, anything that you have to making our schools an awesome place to be. And you're doing a great job. And I'm just really, really grateful for that. So combining all of those stakeholders together, this combined effort allows us to honor all of the good work that is being done at our schools. I know we say up here a lot that we want to honor that effort, and we do a lot of the times, but it's truly these people that are doing the work on the ground that are the ones making the difference. We just get to hear about all the good things every month and be happy to be responsible for it all. So thank you to everyone. That's my moment of gratitude. Thank you for giving me a little bit of extra leeway here, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I will go now, and mine won't be as elegant and nice as Danielle's, but this month has actually not been super busy in events that we've been doing so much, but there's always stuff going on, I feel like. So I am going to start with, I want to echo the sentiments of Ms. Clymer and our admin staff. I have never, as a board member, felt like I knew better what was going on than with this team over here. They are amazing at making sure that we always know what's going on. There's not a surprise for us. Nobody ever catches us off guard. So I appreciate all of you and the work that you put in to not only make sure this district keeps going with any bump in the road that we hit, and we hit them pretty regularly, but that you make sure we know, and that's a priority, to make sure that every board member is aware of what's going on, and you guys handle it so well and everything keeps moving forward smoothly. So we appreciate you. I appreciate all of you immensely. So thank you so much for that. This month though, one of the things I got to do was volunteer on a field trip with Rancho Santa Fe first graders. They got to go to the fire station and learn some fire safety with the firefighters in Avondale. And I am excited for our kids to be doing these field trips again. It's so great to have these kids getting to go and have learning experiences outside of the campus. It's what makes school fun. And we want to make sure that they have these experiences because it's really what enriches the learning that they're doing in their classrooms. And with the little kids and the fire safety, that's obviously super important. And they got to learn it from firefighters, and they were so excited to do the little drills, crawling on the ground and getting to try on the little fire outfits. They were adorable. It was super great. I had a great time. And I encourage people that want to get involved in our schools and know what's happening. I say this every time, and I will say it every time. Please volunteer on our campuses. Schools cannot do it alone. We need the help of everyone. Whether you have kids in our school or you live in Pebble Creek or Victory or wherever, we will find a place for you to come and help in our schools. We were able to attend 2 school showcases since our last meeting. We went to Palm Valley Elementary School, and they had students that walked us around. There was a little one there. I just wanted to put her in my pocket. She was so cute. The 5th graders were not available, so we got to have 4th graders for this one because the 5th graders I believe, were testing that day, and the 4th graders were on it. They were ready to show us all the different places of their schools. They just knew all the details. They were great little guides. And I love hearing from the students firsthand because they're always very honest with us. Kids are really great at that. We also got to go to Verrado Elementary School today, which is always a great school. That campus is a beautiful campus. It's so bright and colorful and fun, and everybody's happy to be there. I love seeing today they had a gentleman out there that has a nonprofit where he goes and teaches golf to students. And so that was really cool to see these little elementary school kids learning how to play golf from this gentleman. He brings all of the supplies in, and then I guess they're getting to go on a field trip, right, to a country club later in the month. So that's a very exciting experience they have. Again, if you have a skill or an experience that you can share with students, we find ways to have you do that if you want to come and share that with our students. So I encourage you to do that. I also got to attend the golf tournament last Friday. I do not golf. So I rode around with Ryan Reese and with Executive Director Nuanez and got to hand out drink coupons and take pictures of the vendors and all of the groups that were there. And that was fun. Everybody loves the drink coupons. So that's my favorite job. But that was a fun event. There was a ton of people there. They were all excited to be there. I think this was like the best one that I've been to. It seemed like it ran the smoothest. So thank you so much to that board that puts on this event. It is a lot of work and they did a great job. Everybody was happy to be there. I didn't see anybody that had any issues happening. So I appreciate you as somebody who's planned a lot of events at schools. I understand that it's a lot of work and we appreciate everything that you do to support our teachers by putting this event on. While at the golf tournament, I got to step away while they were calling the raffle ticket winners. So maybe I won and I didn't know because I had to leave because my phone rang and it was Steve Watson calling me. And I was so excited. I ran out of the area to answer the phone call and he let me know that we got Michelle Wallace as our new board member, which was very exciting. We have been waiting for like, I think 6-7 weeks now to find out who our new person was going to be. And so when he told me who it was, I was very excited for us to find out who it was. I called her right away this weekend. We were able to meet for lunch yesterday and talk. She is going to be a great addition to our team. I love that she has a background in education, both as a teacher and in administration. She also works in a private industry now, and she has children in our district. So I feel like she is going to be fully invested. She's ready to come in and learn and work with this team up here as a team. I am excited to have a full board that is going to be able to work collaboratively and make decisions that are in the best interest of students and put students first always. So thank you for joining our team. I appreciate that you're here and we are so excited to get to know you better and work with you as we move forward this next year and potentially forward with how that pans out. But that's the gist of what I have. But thank you so much to everybody for giving us time tonight. That's all I've got for my reports. We have our reports from the administrators. I encourage people that look at our board docs to please read them. They are so great. They're full of pictures and tons of information. It is a great way to see what's happening at every campus and all our departments. And it's all in board docs for anybody that wants to look at it anytime to see the reports. So those of you that want to sit down and read through all the reports, they're great. And I love the pictures of all the kiddos. They're my favorite part. So thank you to everybody that puts those together for us every month. We really appreciate it. And with that, I will entertain a motion so that we can end this meeting in less than an hour.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I will second.
Having a motion from Mr. Owens and a second from Ms. Moran, I will call for the vote. Mr. Owens,
Yay.
Ms. Moran,
Yay.
Ms. Clymer. Yay. I'm also yay. Motion passes. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And we did it in less than an hour.
Good night.
Bridget was online.
Yeah.